The cameras were rolling when Sierra and Yandy's shocking clash turned violent. What started as words ended with wigs flying. Chaos exploding and fans questioning if their friendship is officially over for good. The night was supposed to be calm, just another gathering where the cast could talk, maybe argue, and eventually move on. But what no one expected was for Sierra and Yandy's feud to ignite into one of the most shocking moments ever caught on tape. As soon as the cameras began rolling, the tension in the air was impossible to ignore. Sierra walked into the room with her head held high, her energy radiating like she was already prepared for battle. Yandy, on the other side, wasn't backing down either. She had that sharp tone in her voice. The one fans know always means drama is about to explode. It started small, just verbal jabs about loyalty, money, and who was really standing by who. Sierra accused Yandy of being fake, saying she only shows up for cameras but never when it actually matters. Yandy shot back immediately, saying Sierra was jealous and desperate for attention. The words cut deep, and the room grew colder with every exchange. Their friends tried to jump in, calm them down, but neither of them was having it. Sierra's voice rose, her finger pointed straight at Yandy, and she shouted that she was tired of the lies, tired of the manipulation. Yandy smirked, rolling her eyes, and muttered, "Girl, please," which was the final spark that lit the fire. The cameras caught it all, the shift from words to action. Sierra lunged forward, her hand reaching out, and in one shocking motion, she grabbed Yandy by her wig. The entire room erupted in screams and chaos. Yandy tried to pull back, her voice shouting for her to let go. But Sierra wasn't stopping. She dragged Yandy by her wig, and the crew had to rush in to pull them apart. Chairs moved, drinks spilled, and the scene instantly spiraled out of control. Security stormed in, their hands separating the two women, while producers shouted over the noise, demanding order. But Sierra wasn't finished. Even as they pulled her back, she shouted across the room, calling Yandy a fraud, telling her that everyone was about to see the real truth. Yandy, adjusting her hair and glaring across the room, fired back, saying Sierra had lost all respect and would regret ever putting her hands on her. The audience watching couldn't believe if this wasn't just reality TV drama. This was a full-blown war. What makes this clash so shocking is the history behind it. Sierra and Yandy weren't always enemies. In fact, there were times when they actually seemed to be allies, supporting each other through personal struggles and relationship messes. But somewhere along the way, jealousy, pride, and behind-the-scenes betrayal poisoned their bond. Sierra believed Yandy had been speaking behind her back, spreading lies that made her look weak, while Yandy insisted Sierra was insecure and constantly trying to drag her down to feel powerful. It was a ticking time bomb, and that night, the explosion finally happened after the initial chaos. Sierra paced the corner of the room, her breathing heavy, her anger refusing to calm down. She kept saying she had warned Yandy not to test her, that she was done playing nice for the cameras. Yandy, on the other side, was surrounded by friends trying to fix her wig and holding back tears of rage. She shouted that she would never forgive Sierra, that dragging her by her wig was the ultimate humiliation, especially in front of millions of viewers. The producers decided to shut down filming for the night, but the damage was already done. Word spread quickly across social media, with clips leaking almost instantly. Fans reacted with disbelief, some siding with Sierra, saying Yandy had pushed her too far, while others condemned Sierra, arguing she had taken things way too far by getting physical. The hashtags trended within hours, with fans dissecting every frame of the leaked footage. Meanwhile, both women took to Instagram with cryptic posts. Sierra posted a black screen with the words, "Never let anyone play with your name," while Yandy went live, her tone filled with controlled anger, saying, "Some people don't know how to handle grown conversations without acting like children." Their followers flooded the comments, taking sides, debating, and waiting for the next episode to see the full fallout. The clash wasn't just about one wig being snatched, it was about years of tension, suppressed emotions, and the fragile balance of fame and friendship. Ciara's bold move might have given her the upper hand in the moment, but the consequences were far from over. Yandy wasn't the type to let humiliation slide. Her calm but cutting words promised revenge, and everyone watching knew this was only the beginning of something much bigger. By the end of that night, the cast was shaken. Security had to escort both women separately out of the building, and the producers sat in shock, knowing they had just captured one of the most explosive moments in the show's history. Fans couldn't look away, and Ciara. She walked out with her head high, still fuming, but convinced she had made her point clear. But if she thought that dragging Yandy by her wig would silence her, she was wrong. Yandy wasn't broken, she was plotting her comeback. And when she returned, it would be with fire. The morning after the clash, the entire cast woke up to a storm on social media. Clips from the fight were everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Fans had slowed down the footage frame by frame, analyzing Ciara's grip on Yandy's wig like it was a sports replay. Hashtags like #WigSnatchGate and #Ciara vs Yandy dominated timelines. The producers didn't have to leak the footage themselves. Somebody from the crew clearly had let it slip. And now the world was talking. Yandy was furious. To her, this wasn't just a heated argument. It was public humiliation. She called her friends early in the morning, venting that Ciara had crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. "This ain't about TV no more," she told them. "This is about respect." And she snatched mine away in front of everybody. Her friends tried to calm her down, but Yandy was already plotting. She wasn't going to let Ciara win this battle. In the court of public opinion, Ciara, on the other hand, felt no remorse. Sitting with her closest friends, she laughed about it, claiming Yandy finally got what she deserved. "I told her I wasn't the one to play with," Ciara said, smirking, "and now she knows." Her friends hyped her up, telling her the internet loved her boldness, but deep down Ciara knew this wasn't going to end here. The producers had already called, warning both women that security would be tripled at the next taping and that contracts could be on the line if things got more violent. Later that week, production resumed. The energy was electric. Everybody showed up, nervous but eager, because they knew cameras were rolling for something explosive. Ciara arrived looking flawless, strutting in with confidence, while Yandy came in with a controlled calm, her wig perfectly laid as if to prove she was unbothered. But behind her calm eyes was a storm brewing. The tension in the room was thick. Even the other cast members avoided picking sides too openly, worried about getting caught in the middle. When the producers finally brought Ciara and Yandy face to face, the room fell silent. For a few seconds, it looked like things might stay calm. Yandy spoke first, her tone sharp but measured. "You embarrassed yourself more than you embarrassed me," she said. "Because real women don't need to put hands on anybody to get their point across." Ciara rolled her eyes immediately. "Girl, please. You've been talking about me behind my back for months. You sit there acting like you're this classy queen, but you're messy as hell. I just gave you what you were asking for." The crowd gasped. The two women glared at each other, their words cutting deeper with every exchange. But this time, the producers were ready. Security stood right between them, making sure no physical fight could break out. Still, the verbal fireworks were enough. To shake the room, Yandy then dropped a bombshell. "You want to talk about something messy? Let's talk about how you've been lying about your own man behind closed doors. Don't make me air it out." The room erupted. Everyone looked at Ciara, who suddenly went quiet. Her face shifted anger, mixed with shock. She tried to brush it off, but the damage was already done. Yandy smirked, leaning back in her chair, satisfied she had landed the first real blow of the night. Ciara quickly snapped back, saying Yandy was just making up stories to save face. "You're a liar. You have always been a liar. That's why nobody trusts you off camera." Ciara shot back, her voice trembling with rage. The two women went back and forth for nearly 20 minutes, each one trying to expose the other. Each one determined to walk out as the one who had the last word. The last word. Meanwhile, the rest of the cast grew uncomfortable. Some tried to mediate, but their voices were drowned out. Others stayed silent, watching the feud unfold like spectators at a boxing match. Every insult, every accusation, every glare. This wasn't just entertainment anymore. It felt personal, raw, and dangerous. As the hours passed, producers decided to separate the two again, but it was too late. The internet had already taken sides. Yandy supporters praised her for staying calm, calling Sierra ratchet and out of control. Sierra's fans clapped back, saying Yandy was manipulative and finally got a taste of her own medicine. Even celebrities outside the show began commenting, dropping their opinions and fueling the fire. Behind the scenes, Rashida, Carly, and a few others tried to speak to Sierra privately. They told her she needed to watch her temper, that the way she dragged Yandy's wig might cost her more than just friendships, it could cost her opportunities. Sierra listened, but her pride wouldn't let her admit they were right. She disrespected me first, Sierra repeated over and over. Yandy, meanwhile, spent her private time documenting everything. Her team was already discussing legal action, and whispers spread that she might sue Sierra for putting hands on her during filming. This ain't just TV. This is assault, she told her assistant during a phone call, her voice stern. The possibility of a lawsuit sent shockwaves through the set. And suddenly the drama wasn't just about entertainment anymore. It was about careers, contracts, and real consequences. By the end of week 2, the tension had reached a boiling point. Sierra was being painted as the aggressor in the media, while Yandy played the victim card perfectly, winning sympathy. Sierra hated it. She's milking this for attention, she ranted to her stylist, but the truth is, she's been provoking me for months. The producers faced a dilemma. Do they step in to calm the storm, or do they let it burn and capture reality TV gold? The answer, of course, was obvious. They kept the cameras rolling. The stage was set for an even bigger explosion. Because if Sierra thought dragging Yandy's wig was the peak of their feud, she was wrong. Yandy was about to turn the tables, in a way that no one, not even Sierra, could have seen coming. The final showdown between Sierra and Yandy wasn't just another scene for reality. TVIT had turned into a cultural moment. By the time cameras rolled again, the incident had already gone viral worldwide. Talk shows were picking it apart. Bloggers were writing think pieces, and fans were choosing sides like it was a presidential election. Everyone wanted to see how this story ended, and both Sierra and Yandy knew it. They walked onto the set with their heads held high, each determined to own the narrative. Yandy arrived first, her outfit sleek and polished, exuding power and control. She wanted to send a message without saying a word. She was composed, unshaken. And above Sierra's chaos, Sierra entered moments later, rocking bold colors and a confident smirk, letting the world know she wasn't backing down. The energy was electric. Everyone on set could feel it. Producers tightened security, even keeping 2 guards at arm's reach, because no one was taking chances this time. The conversation began calmly, almost eerily so. Yandy spoke first, her voice steady, but every syllable was sharp. The difference between me and you, Sierra, is I don't have to put my hands on people to be relevant. I built my empire off respect, not off dragging wigs. The crowd murmured, sensing where this was going. Sierra leaned forward, her smirk growing wider. Girl, your empire built off lies. You are fake, you are manipulative, and everybody knows it. I just did what the streets have been wanting to do for years. That line hit hard. Gasps filled the room, and Yandy's face stiffened. Her calm exterior began to crack, and for the first time since the incident, her voice shook with raw emotion. You embarrassed black women on national TV. You embarrassed yourself. That's why people don't take you seriously. You're nothing but a clown, Ciara fired back immediately, her voice rising. Clown? Nah, baby. Clown is sitting here, pretending like you are this big role model when you can't even keep your own house in order. The tension was unbearable. Cast members looked at each other nervously, some whispering under their breath, others clutching their seats. But then Yandy dropped the ultimate bombshell, with cameras rolling and millions waiting for her next move. She looked Ciara dead in the eye and said, "You want to talk about lies? Let's talk about how you've been sneaking around on your man. Let's talk about the receipts I got." The room exploded. Producers tried to calm everyone, but the damage was done. Ciara's eyes widened, her confidence shaken for the first time. "You're lying," she shouted, her voice cracking. "You're lying and you know it." But Yandy didn't flinch. She pulled out her phone, scrolling to screenshots and messages she claimed proved Ciara wasn't as loyal as she portrayed. The camera zoomed in, capturing every detail, every reaction. Ciara jumped up, pointing across the table. "You better watch yourself. Don't play with me like that." Security immediately stepped in, holding her back while Yandy calmly waved her phone, smirking with victory. The cast gasped, some covering their mouths, others whispering frantically. If Yandy's evidence was real, it wasn't just Ciara's reputation on the line, it was her entire relationship. The scene was chaotic. Ciara screamed over the guards, calling Yandy a liar, a snake, accusing her of making up stories for clout. Yandy simply sat back, letting Ciara's fury speak for itself. The contrast between Ciara's explosive anger and Yandy's calm, calculated demeanor made the moment even more powerful. The internet had a field day with the leaked clips, calling Yandy the queen of patience and Ciara the drama machine. Memes flooded timelines with Ciara dragging wigs compared to WWE fights, and Yandy sipping tea like an undefeated champion. But beneath all the noise, something real was breaking. Ciara's personal life began to crumble. Her man, after seeing the rumors and alleged receipts, started pulling back. Friends she thought were loyal began distancing themselves, not wanting to be dragged into her storm. Meanwhile, Yandy's brand soared. She landed interviews, podcasts, and even brand deals off the incident, flipping the narrative into a story about handling conflict with grace. For Ciara, the fallout was devastating. She posted emotional Instagram stories, saying people didn't know the full truth, that she was being targeted and set up. "I'm human too," she cried, her voice breaking. "Everybody laughs at me like I'm a joke, but they don't know what I go through every day." Fans flooded her comments, some supporting her, others dragging her relentlessly. On the reunion, special things hit their absolute peak. The cast gathered and the fight was replayed on a giant screen. The audience gasped again, watching Ciara's hands yank Yandy's wig in slow motion. Ciara buried her face in her hands, embarrassed by how bad it looked from the outside. Yandy, however, sat with her head high, letting the footage speak for itself. When asked if she forgave Ciara, she shook her head firmly. Forgiveness is earned, not given. And she hasn't earned it. Ciara tried to apologize, her voice cracking, but Yandy cut her off. "Save it. You are not sorry. You're sorry you got caught looking crazy." The reunion turned into another shouting match, but this time Ciara had fewer people in her corner. The damage was done, and no apology could erase the image of her dragging Yandy by her wig. By the end of the season, Ciara was left questioning everything. Was the moment worth it? Did snatching Yandy's wig prove her point, or did it just destroy her credibility? Yandy, on the other hand, walked away stronger than ever, her brand polished.